This should go without saying. Unfortunately, it does need to be repeated over and over. You need to be using a password manager. Why? Let me cut to the chase and give you 5 good reasons. Complicated passwords. This is the biggest reason, bar none. If you're making use of passwords you can easily remember, such as password, password 123, happy, joy, etc., you're at risk. Why? Simple passwords are easier to crack. With the right tools and enough horsepower, a hacker can crack those simple passwords in seconds or minutes. Because of this, you want to make sure the passwords you use are hard, if not impossible, to remember. A good rule of thumb is that if you can easily remember a password, it's probably easy to crack. The harder that password is to remember, the harder it is to crack. So when you're using such difficult passwords, you need a vault to house them. That's where the password manager comes into play. Password generators. Speaking of complicated passwords, you shouldn't be trying to come up with complicated passwords on your own. Do that, and you'll wind up with variations on your usual theme. Instead, you need a password manager that includes a random password generator to create very complicated passwords. Some password managers, such as NPass, allow you to configure how complicated the password is. With these tools, you can generate passwords that are 20 random characters long, or even pronounceable random phrases. Make use of these tools and your passwords will be very complicated and therefore strong. One password to rule them all. With a password manager, you only need to remember one password, the one used to gain access to your stored passwords. With this in place, you don't have to worry about remembering all those new and highly complex passwords generated by the manager. Open the managing tool, type your vault password, and locate the password you need. The one caveat to this is to make sure your vault password isn't simple. It doesn't need to be overly complex, just not obvious. The numbers are against you. How many accounts do you have which require a password? Tens? Hundreds? The more accounts you have, the more likely the numbers are against you. Because of this, you're probably using the same password for everything, which is a huge no-no. You must be using different passwords for every account you have. With that many different passwords, how are you going to remember them? You're not, especially if those passwords are complicated. That's another big reason to be using a password manager. Device syncing. Some password managers allow you to sync your password database across all of your devices. With this feature, you will have access to your passwords on your desktop, your laptop, and your mobile devices. This way, you always have your passwords at the ready. If you opt to use this feature, make sure you have your password database encrypted with a strong password. The last thing you need is for a bad actor to intercept your database and crack it via brute force. Yes, using a password manager does add a step or two to the login process. But when your data and security is at risk, those extra steps are worth it. With each passing day you continue counting on those simple passwords, you run the risk of data theft. Be wise and use a password manager before it's too late.